Okay, hello everyone. Good morning, all of you. Today's quote, it is by the great Swami Vivekananda. He says, "Who is helping you, don't forget them. Who is loving you, don't hate them. And who is believing you, don't cheat them." Because the people who love you, help you, and believe you, it is difficult to get such people. And by forgetting, hating, and cheating, you lose those people also, which are very rare in the nature or creation. Right? Many times, people cheat their own parents and teachers, and they are the people really love you and believe you. And by cheating them, they feel happy and they feel proud that they can cheat elders or something. And there are two things. Whenever you cheat somebody who love you only are the loser. Many times I tell in the class, people give proxy, or in the exam they copy. And by cheating the teacher, who is the loser? Teacher won't lose anything. The student only will lose. So many times my children used to ask in the exam, people are copying, they get more marks. Okay, today they may get more marks, but what is the use of those marks if they don't have subject, right? Tomorrow when they go for interview, when they go for written test and all, if they don't have confidence, they cannot fare it well. The confidence is more important. And another thing is, we can cheat only the people who believe us, who have faith in us, who have trust in us. Otherwise, you cannot cheat them, right? You could cheat because they are having trust in you. See how sad it is. We are cheating the people who believe us, who trust us, who love us. We don't understand at that time, right? Only later we will understand, and we will lose those people. Okay. Today is the birthday of one great philosopher, physician, public speaker, and writer, Deepak Chopra. I don't know how many people came across his books. He has written many, many books, and mainly he is a prominent figure in the New Age movement. I don't know whether you know about New Age movement. You can just check in the Wikipedia. His books and videos have made him one of the best known and wealthiest figures in alternative medicine. So he is interested in alternative medicine. Other than because nowadays all people are going for alternate medicine because allopathy has its own side effects and all. And he is very good and he has written many books on alternate medicine. And Chopra studied internal medicine and endocrinology. In 1996, he co-founded the Chopra Center for Well-being. Chopra believes that a person may attain perfect health. Perfect health means a condition that is free from disease, that never feels pain, and that cannot age or die. He sees human body as quantum mechanical body, composed not of matter, but of energy and information. He believes that human aging is fluid and changeable. It can speed up, slow down, stop for a time, and even reverse itself, as determined by one's state of mind. So you can decide about your own health and aging, right? So that's what he says. He has written some books like Ageless Body and Timeless Mind, Grow Younger, Live Longer, and Freedom from Addiction, and the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success. There are the only four I have given, and many books he has written. Okay. So it is Deepak Chopra. And actually, today we want to discuss vorticity stream functional formulations. But before that, as I told yesterday, I was not that happy and comfortable for the simple formulation, simple algorithm. And I will quickly do in a brief way how it is done. Right? As I told, first we have to understand why we have used staggered grid. So as I told, when you want to have central difference for x derivatives, y derivatives, and there is a possibility that we get the solution as a checkerboard pattern, which is completely impractical. So to avoid that, either you have to go for one-sided difference like backward difference or forward difference, or I can use the central difference with staggered grid. So in the staggered grid, we calculate different properties at different grid points and store them. Okay, so the main grid points, we rate say ij, I plus 1j, I minus 1j like that. They are main grid points where pressure and any other like temperature, mass species, or those things, additional equations if you have, those things also we calculate at the main grid points. So we will have secondary grid points like I plus of j, right? So if it is shifted horizontally by half grid distance, we will get grid for u. Similarly, if we shift it half grid above, then ij plus half, there we get the v grid. Okay, that is the way we solve this, so that when you are taking the differences, we are going to have adjacent points for the central difference, and it though if it is checkerboard, it cannot result in a checkerboard pattern of result. We will get practical solution. Okay, so that's what it is about staggered grid. And if you write the equations, ux plus vy, if I write with density, I will get like this. Dou of rho u by dou x plus dou of rho v by dou y equal to 0. This is continuity. And x momentum ut plus dou of u square by dou x plus dou of uv by dou y is equal to minus, okay, here rho u square, rho u v, rho u square, rho uv, and minus px plus mu uxx plus uy. Okay, so rho v t plus rho uv x plus rho v square y is equal to minus py plus mu vxx plus vy. Okay, these are the equations. And now when we discretize this equation at I plus half j. And we discretize this equation at I j plus half, because this is the equation. And this equation, this is discretized at ij. Okay, so that is the way we have to do. And when we discretize it, so what we get, flux momentum if you equation if you take this one, rho u I plus half j I am calculating, and so because it is time derivative, n plus 1 minus rho u I plus half j n by delta t. This is the way we get, is equal to this dou by dou x of rho u square, we take rho u square. So at I plus half j, if I am taking central difference, okay, so what is on the right side? I plus 3 by 2j. On the right side, I minus half j you will have by 2 delta x. This is the way we get. Any doubt, you ask me immediately. Okay, so similarly, if I take this rho uv, dou by dou y means upper side and downside points I have to take. Okay, so I plus half j is the point at which I am taking the y derivative. So I plus half j plus 1, I plus half j minus 1 I will get. So I plus half j plus 1 minus rho uv I plus half j minus 1 by 2 delta y. This is the way I get, is equal to, so minus px. So for I plus half, right side and left side, what points I will have? Main grid points I plus 1 and I. So p I plus 1j minus p ij by delta x. Okay, so this is the way I get. These are the adjacent points I am taking.
Sir,
here.
please repeat for P.
Yeah, because when I am taking like this, okay, so I am taking at I plus half j, right? The p is at this point. So dou p by dou x when I take, the adjacent points for I plus half j is pi plus 1j and pij. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And plus mu into dou square u by dou x square I want. Means 3 points I want. That point I plus half j, right side point I plus 3 by 2j, left side point I minus half j. So mu, u I plus 3 by 2j minus 2 mu, I plus half. Okay, I plus 3 by 2j and 2 mu, u. I plus 3 by 2j minus 2u I plus half j plus u I minus half j by delta x whole square plus for I plus half j, if I want to take the again central difference, j plus 1, j minus 1 I will have at I plus half line. Okay. So u I plus half j plus 1 minus 2u I plus half j plus u I plus half j minus 1 by delta y whole square. Like this I will get. Is everything okay?
Yes, sir.
So once I write that, so what I will do is this is equal to this plus delta t I will take to the right hand side. So delta t into this whole thing. Okay. And this expression, this expression, this expression, everything together I call it as A. So what I will get is rho u I plus half j n plus 1 is equal to rho u I plus half j n minus delta t by delta x pi plus 1j minus pij. Okay, one more plus a delta t. Okay, this is the way I get that. Am I clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is the way I get that. So this is x momentum equation. So if I initially when I want to do the simple algorithm, what I do is I assume p star, u star, and v star. These are the values I initialize, some guess values. So these guess values are substituted here to update this value. So I will put here rho u star I plus half j n plus 1 is equal to rho u star I plus half j n is minus delta t by, or a delta t first I will write, because in the book it is written like that. So a star delta t minus delta t by delta x into p star I plus 1j minus p star ij. Okay, this is the x momentum equation where I update u star. This is equation 1 I will put. Is that clear?
Plus a star delta t.
Yes?
Plus a star delta t.
Last.
Plus a star delta t, the sign.
A star delta t. Yeah, a minus a. A also, a means, okay, all these terms, right? All these terms, when I put a u star here, u, v star, u star, v star, and all, I will get a star. Okay? Is it clear?
So it will be plus a star delta t.
A star delta t. Okay, I am putting just before this. Sorry. I lost it. I lost that. Okay, so here a star delta t, instead of putting at the end, I am putting before that. Okay. This plus.
Undo, sir. Undo.
Is that you are
There is
asking?
option. Sir, there is option for
Yes, sir.
undo.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this is the way I will write. And then,
There
if you
is,
subtract this from
sir,
here,
there is a
so
option
what
for
will we get? Rho u dash, u minus u star is u dash. So if you again, u minus, u dash is equal to u minus u star. This is correction. V dash is equal to v minus v star. P dash is equal to p minus p star. Okay, so these are called as pressure and velocity corrections. These are guessed values. These are the exact values you can think of. Okay, so here if I subtract, okay, u minus u star, rho u dash I will get I plus half j is equal to rho u dash I plus half j. This is n plus 1, this is n plus a dash delta t minus delta t by delta x, p dash I plus 1j minus p dash ij, like this. Okay, so here we make an assumption. So what is the assumption? We assume that this is 0 and this is 0. That is negligibly small, and I am, because these are dashes, corrections. So I assume this is that's what I told. This is one of the major assumptions we make in simple. Because of this, we have other versions like simpler, simple C, like that. Okay. So this is the assumption we make in simple algorithm. You have to be clear about it. Okay, this is the way I get. Again, rho u dash is rho u minus rho u star. Okay, I will write this as rho u I plus half j n plus 1 minus rho u star I plus half j n plus 1 minus delta t by delta x is equal to into p dash I plus 1j minus p dash I. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, this is the way we write. And so if I get rho u I plus half j like this, rho u I minus half j if I want, this is equal to rho u star I minus half j n plus 1 minus delta t by delta x. For I minus half, what are the neighboring points? Ei minus pi minus 1j. Pij minus
Please
pi.
repeat the above equation, sir.
Yes?
Sir, the above equation, please repeat.
Which equation?
Sir, a dash delta t, where it goes off?
A dash delta t. This I am neglecting. This term and this term I am neglecting. So I am getting this is equal to this. And this rho u dash I am writing as rho u minus rho u star.
Okay, sir.
Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the way I get. In the same way, y momentum equation also if I write, okay, so y momentum equation, I am not writing the whole thing, okay, because it takes time. So what will I get is rho v star.
Sir, why we are neglecting it?
No, that's what it is, to create or to derive manipulation. That's what as I told, there are many other versions came. Instead of neglecting this, they do some other modification and manipulation. They are coming with different schemes.
Sir, please.
This is the scheme for here, simple.
Sir, please repeat.
Okay.
Actually, you could not hear.
Yeah. Okay, so rho v star for the y momentum equation, I will get rho v star. Instead of I plus half j, I will get I j plus half n plus 1 is equal to rho v star I j plus half n plus here I will get b star delta t minus delta t by delta x. Okay, dou p by dou y. Okay, so for I j plus half, what is the upper one and lower one? P I j or I j plus 1 minus P I j. For j plus half, the neighboring points are j plus 1 and j. So
Hello.
Sir, not audible.
Sir has left. Maybe there is a power cut, I think.
Now, can you see
Yes,
me
sir.
again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I don't. Now I don't know what I have to repeat. Just okay. These things I have shown you, right? And continuity equation when I have written, have you seen it?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Hello. Okay. Okay. The previous this one we have seen it.
Yes, sir.
Sir. Up to y momentum equation.
Yes, sir. The below lines
Okay.
were not
Oh,
done.
yeah, yeah. Okay. This is the y momentum equation, right? Again, in the y momentum equation, I neglect this and I neglect this. So I'm going to get rho v star ij plus half n plus 1 is rho v star ij minus half n plus 1 minus this I will get. Okay. And so if I write this at ij minus half, rho v star ij minus half n plus 1, rho v star ij minus half n plus 1, minus delta t by delta x. And for ij minus half, the neighboring points are j and j minus 1. So pij minus 1 dash I will get. This is the equation I will get. So I have rho u at I plus half j, rho u at I minus half j, rho v at ij plus half, and rho v at ij minus half. Okay. And these things I have to put in the continuity equation. So the continuity equation is rho u of x plus rho v of y is equal to 0. And this is to be written at ij. So for ij, the neighboring points for in the x direction are I plus half and I minus half. So I write rho u I plus half j, rho u I minus half j by delta x, plus for rho v, okay, in the y direction, the neighboring points
Sir?
are j plus half and j min. Yes.
Sir, why we calculate the momentum equation and continuity equation at different point at ij and I plus half j?
That's what I am staggering them. Okay, why I am staggering? Here you can see here, I am getting the difference between I plus half j and I minus half j. Okay, so I plus half j, I minus half j, they are neighboring points. Okay, because they
Yes.
are neighboring points, even if I have checkerboard pattern, I will not get it 0. If I write, okay, one central difference by taking 2 points difference, then I will have the 0. Rho u dou of rho u by dou x will become 0. In the same way, in the previous slide, here I am getting pi plus 1j minus pij. If I take pi plus 1j minus pi minus 1j by the 2 delta x central difference, I am going to get 0. Right? But if I take pi plus 1j minus pij, means they are neighboring points, but still it is central difference. For I plus half j, the neighboring points are I plus 1 and I. They are neighboring points for p. They are different values. That's why it will not become 0. Am I clear or not?
Sir, please repeat once. Actually, sir, if I discretize,
Just
if we discretize at I the continuity equation at I plus half
see,
j.
just okay, if this is ij, right, and this is I plus 1j, this is I minus 1j, and this is I plus half j, this is I minus half j. Okay, and here, suppose if I take x momentum, I am going to get dou p by dou x. So dou p by dou x, if I take at this point, this value and this value may be same, but this neighboring points values will be different. Am I clear? If I have checkerboard pattern, pi plus 1j minus pi minus 1j by 2 delta x, if I take, this is going to be 0 for checkerboard pattern. But if I take pi plus 1j minus pij, this is not equal to 0, even if there is checkerboard pattern. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
In the same way, when I take the continuity equation at this point, I am not taking this point and this point, but I am taking I plus half j and I minus half j, rho u I plus half j minus rho u I minus half j by delta x I am taking. This will not be 0 even if I have checkerboard pattern.
Yes, sir.
Am I clear? Otherwise,
Yes, sir.
Otherwise what I have to do? Okay, now it's clear, right?
Sir, but if we calculate
Why I am taking-
at I plus half j with difference delta x
Yeah.
by 2, then it will not 0. If we discretize the continuity equation at I plus half j, then
Yeah.
it will be u I plus 1j minus uij by delta x.
But I don't have u values here, I plus 1 and I.
Okay, sir. Understand.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now this is the way I get. Now I have to substitute. This is rho u star I plus half j minus delta t by delta x p I plus 1j minus p I j dash. Okay, this is this from the previous one. Okay, this I am writing there. And same way, this one, it will become rho u star I plus 1j, I minus half j minus delta t by delta x into p dash ij minus p dash I minus 1j I will get. Similarly, for this rho v star I j minus half, j plus half minus delta t by delta x pij plus 1 minus pij dash, and rho v star I j minus half minus delta t by delta x into p dash ij minus p dash ij minus 1 I will get. Okay, these four equations I substitute here, so that I am going to get something into p dash I plus 1j and plus something into p dash I minus 1j plus something into p dash ij plus something into p dash ij plus 1 plus something into p dash I j minus 1 is equal to some values, whatever these star values are there, right? All these values will come onto the either right side, or I can put plus d equal to 0 like this. Am I clear about this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is what is written in the slide. Okay, this is the way I am going to get. And this d value will have this rho u star I plus of j, rho u star I minus of j. This is like this. This is similar to continuity equation with the guessed values. So that's why this may not be 0, because I am using guess values. So if this is 0, I am iterating and I am updating the values that it approaches 0. So the convergence check will be if it is I have to guess, sorry. So first step, guess u star, v star, and p star. Okay, and solve x momentum to update u star. Okay, and solve y momentum to update v star, and solve pressure correction equation to get p dash. Okay, this p dash is used to update pressure. Pressure is equal to p star guess value plus p dash correction I have to put. And instead of adding this, I am putting a relaxation factor. Okay, sometimes you will put alpha or p, omega, or whatever it is.
Again, sir was disconnected, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So can you see the screen again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now have you seen this algorithm, what I have written?
Up to fifth point.
Okay. Anyhow, this is nothing more new. Okay, we are starting with guess values of U star, V star, P star, and solving X momentum equation. We are getting updating U star, and solving Y momentum. We are updating V star, and solving P dash equation. We get P dash, and using P dash, I update the pressure. P is equal to P star plus omega P. So this omega is the relaxation factor. It should be less than 1 because I want to use under relaxation due to nonlinearity. So I'm getting new P. This P, now you take it as P star and repeat the calculations. Okay. Again, solve X momentum, Y momentum like that. And these steps are to be repeated till this D, that mass residue, is less than or equal to epsilon. This is the simple algorithm. Is it clear?
Sir, can you explain D lesser equal to epsilon?
That's what I told in the previous one. So here this D, okay, what is the D we have seen here? Okay, this is D. This is rho U star I plus of j, rho U star I minus of j. Like this is like a continuity equation only, right? This D will become 0 if my guess values are right. The U star, V star, whatever values I am having, if they are right, this D becomes 0. But because I am using guess values, there will be some residue. Every iteration, the U star, V star are updated. So D value gets reduced like that. And I have to do the iterations till this is less than or equal to epsilon. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is the way we have to go about it. This simple algorithm is okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is all given here under relaxation, and these things we have discussed. And coming to this quickly, we will do governing equations for vorticity stream function equation is this. Okay. So this can be steady flow or unsteady flow. So if you see this equation, first equation, because of the unsteady term, this is parabolic equation. This is parabolic equation, and this is elliptic equation. And these are D-linked. Because I don't have psi here, I can separately solve the first equation for omega. There is no linking with that other equation. So that omega now is substituted here, and separately this can be solved. So these are D-linked equations. So one is parabolic, another is elliptic. And so if it is unsteady state problem solver, solve vorticity transport equation using any parabolic solver, and solve stream function equation using any elliptic solver for each time step. Okay, so if I have steady state, okay, so what should I do? What we do is we take unsteady equations and we march in time till we get the steady state. So as we have done the previously simple algorithm, we march it in time till you get the steady state. Okay, so the unsteady equations are solved until steady state is achieved. If this approach is used, one must pay attention to the total computation time, in that it may be too excessive. Obviously, this would be problem dependent, and in particular Reynolds number dependent. Okay, and if I have steady state, so steady state means I don't have this unsteady term here. So what I do is, because I am interested in time marching, in both the cases, both the equations I add unsteady term. Okay, it is like this: dou omega by dou t and dou psi by dou t. You add them, and you make it like unsteady equation, and then you march in time till you get the steady state. Okay, so if I don't have this, now both becomes parabolic. Okay, so one now solves two parabolic equations. If it is like this, okay, now if it is steady state, both are elliptic equations. This also elliptic only because I don't have unsteady term, and this is like Laplace system. So this is elliptic equation. You understand that? If it is steady flow, both are elliptic equations. I can use elliptic solvers for both the equations. Otherwise, I can make them unsteady. I can make them both parabolic, and I have to solve using the parabolic solvers. So these are various ways of solving them. Okay, so we will see how we can solve those equations in different methods. So if I take verticity transport equation, FTCS scheme, okay, FTCX means forward time central space. If I have non-conservation form and conservation form, non-conservation form I will have u dou omega by dou x, v dou omega by dou y. But in conservation form I will have dou of u omega by dou x and okay, so in the conservation form, I will have dou u omega by dou x and dou of u omega by dou v omega by dou y. So if I take central difference, so I can central difference, it can be like this. Okay, so here because this is explicit scheme, right? So I am no problem. Everything we can write central difference here for first order difference derivative and central difference here for second order derivative. So these two terms will be different if I have conservation form. These two will be there. Is it clear what I am talking? Okay. So I can have upwind differencing because central difference many times it will give problem. We know it. So upwind differencing is preferable. So upwind means what I have to do. If the flow is going from left to right, I have to take backward difference. If the flow is taking right to left, I have to take forward difference. Is that point clear? Based on how the information is moving with the flow, right? If the flow is this way, upwind differencing means it has to take the value behind it because the values here depends on the value behind it. I have to take backward difference. If the flow is like this, so this grid point I have to take, that is forward difference. So it depends on what type of flow I have, but I don't know which way the flow is taking place. There may be reversal of flow, okay? And sometimes there will be a forward flow and sometimes backward flow like that. So what should I do? There is a way of writing like this, right? Here I introduce one parameter epsilon x. Okay, I will put 1 minus epsilon x into here I get put the forward difference. Ui plus 1 j omega I plus 1 j minus ui j omega I j. This is forward difference. And here 1 plus omega x I will put, here backward difference ij I minus 1j. So like this I put. And for y derivative also I am putting like this. So here what I do is based on whether u is positive or negative, I will put a if condition in the loop. Okay. So here if u is greater than 0, I have to take backward difference, right? So if u is positive, epsilon is 1. So if epsilon is 1, what will happen? This will become 0. And this will become 2 by 2, 1. And so backward difference will come. If u is negative, flow is taking this way. So then epsilon equal to minus 1. So this will become 0. Backward difference will become 0. I will have forward difference. Is this logic clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the way I have to go about upwind differencing. And you can do ADA formulation also. Okay, so I have given it in non-conservation form and conservation form. And so in the x direction and in the y direction I will do. Okay, so in the x direction when I am taking here n plus half, okay, half time step, I am splitting it into 2 half time steps. And so n plus half I will put, and in the, okay, this is the first half time step, this is the second half time step. Okay, in the x direction I am putting n plus half here, in the y direction old values I am taking. So here in the x derivative I am taking the new values, in the y derivative I am taking old values. And in the second half time step, so here n plus half is already calculated, which is known, I am putting in the x derivative, and in the y derivative I am putting n plus 1, which are unknown values. So like that I put here. So here also I will get 3 unknowns, and here also I will get 3 unknowns in the y direction. So I am going to get 2 times tridiagonal matrix is to be solved. Okay, this is same way what we are doing till now. So this is ADA formulation. Again, it can be for conservation form or non-conservation form. And stream function equation, it is straightforward. We have written already del square t equal to 0 for Laplace's equation. Instead of that, I have minus omega. Okay, so I am going to get psi ij k plus 1 is 1 by 2 into 1 plus beta square. All these things will be as it is. Psi I plus 1j, I minus 1j, beta square into psi ij plus 1, psi ij minus 1. But this omega will be additional one. So this omega ij n plus 1, it will come here. Because delta x square I am multiplying, delta x square by delta y square will become beta. So that beta will come here. And so this will become delta x whole square into omega. So this is the way, this is the elliptic equation. We know already the elliptic solvers that we can do. That is point Gauss Seidel, point successive or relaxation or anything. Okay, so this is about how to solve them. Next class, we will see an example, okay, and how to write a code, which will be useful for your lab also. We will do about that. Any doubts about this? There is nothing much new schemes, right? FTCS and upwind only I'm using, and for parabolic equation. Only one thing is when I'm using upwind, okay, so here upwind, when I use, if it is in the forward direction, I have to take backward difference. If it is in the flow is taking this way, I have to take forward difference. So I don't know which way it is taking place. So based on the sign of u, okay, if u is positive, it is taking this place, I have to take backward difference. If u is negative, it is taking this way, so I have to take forward difference. So that I have to use this particular method, half into 1 minus epsilon x, half into 1 plus epsilon x. Okay, so if u is positive, I have to get this forward difference, and this other becomes 0. So epsilon x should be 1. And if it is backward flow, I have to take forward difference, and then this should become 0. So epsilon x should be minus 1. Okay, so that is the way I have to go about. Any questions? And in this chapter, only simple method I have taken from the Anderson, and omega psi formulations, it is again from Hoffman only. And in Hoffman, simple method is not explained. Okay, and only some few more points I want to tell. Okay, this simple approach, this is developed by D.B. Spalding and S.V. Patankar in 1970. And later, it came with simple R, means revised. R means revised. This, it is only Patankar, he has revised it. In 1979. He has written a book in 1980, right? Numerical methods for heat transfer and fluid flow. Okay, this is like a Bible for all finite volume methods books. Okay, this is a Bible. Okay? It's a very small book, very, very good book, fantastic book. And later, this is revised as simple, consistent by two people, Van Dormer and Raithby in 1984. And then there is another method called as PISO. Here, this is called as pressure implicit with splitting of operators. This is by Issa in 1986. Okay, these are different variations. As I told, why these variations came, there we have neglected that A dash dt delta t like that, isn't it? So these people came with different other options, but this is still very good scheme, okay? And each has its own applications. For these types of applications, this method is good. For these types of applications, this method is good, like that. So you have to see the literature. When you take a problem, which method is good for your problem, you have to check and you have to use that particular scheme. Okay, so this is what I want. And actually, this staggered grid concept, actually before D.B. Spalding and Patankar, it came by what is called as marker and cell method. This is developed by Harlow and Welch. Okay, these people came with actually staggered grid concept, and that is used by these people, Spalding and Patankar, in finite volume method. Okay, actually this marker and cell method, this is also called as MAC method. This is explained in Hoffman. Okay, but we are not discussing that because this is old method. This is updated by Patankar, so we are using that simple method. Okay? So that is it. I want to give the background of it. So in the lab, actually, we are going to take a benchmark problem, which is called as lid-driven cavity problem. So lid-driven cavity means I have a cavity like this. Okay, here there is some fluid inside, which is stationary. And now I have a plate over this. This plate is pushed towards right, okay, continuously. So what happens due to viscosity? What happens when a plate is drawn like that? What happens to the flow here inside? The fluid is initially stationary. Now there is a plate moved from the top like this. Can you tell me what could happen? Anybody?
The fluid is rotating.
Yeah. So I will have a vortex generated here. So this pushes this way, right? The fluid near to the plate will be pushed to the right. Okay. So when it is pushed, how can it flow continuously? It cannot flow, right? It just has to go down, and the new fluid will enter here, and it goes on having like this. Okay, and there will be some more small vortices will be created here because of that flow happening like that. So this is the way how it is happening in the time, how gradually it is developing, and the whole thing will become a big vortex and small vortices, how it is developed. This is a very, very famous benchmark problem, lid-driven cavity. It is a lot of experiments have been done, and so some results are available in the literature. So whenever a incompressible viscous problem, somebody has to write a code, some big problem, you have to validate it with this particular problem. Okay, so if you validate it, then you can say to the other people confidently that my code works, and so I use it for another purpose. Okay, like that. This is a benchmark problem for validation purpose. So we try to develop code using omega psi formulation and the simple approach for this particular problem. So we will try how we can go about it. Any questions?
Sir,
Yes.
sir, when the flow is taking place from left to right, then we take backward difference.
Yeah, when I'm having the flow like this, so
Yes.
this is the value at this point depends on the value before it, right? So at I, okay, this is I, suppose this is I minus 1, this is I plus 1. The value at I depends on value at I minus 1, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
And sir,
if
for
I have dou u by dou x, I have to write u ij minus u I minus 1j by delta x. I should not write either central difference u I plus 1j minus u I minus 1 by like that, or I should not write u I plus 1j minus u ij. Is it
yes,
clear?
sir. Yes, yes. And when right to left, then forward difference.
Yeah, forward difference. So if the flow is like this, I have I here, I plus 1j here, I minus 1j here. So the value here depends on this. So I have to write dou u by dou x as ui plus 1j minus uij by delta x, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, that is the way. So both of them are included there using that epsilon x. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So shall I stop here? So we'll go for the story.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a nice story. It's a giraffe story. It's again a natural things that happen in nature. Okay, so bringing a giraffe into the world is a tall order. A baby giraffe, which takes birth, falls 10 feet from its mother's womb and usually lands on its back. It falls from there because it is a tall animal, so it falls from there. And when it after falling, within seconds it rolls over and tucks its legs under its body. So when it falls, it just tucks its legs into body. From this position, it considers the world for the first time, okay, and shakes off the last vestiges of the birthing fluid from its eyes and ears. Okay, so she gets shaken her body, and then the mother giraffe rudely introduces its offspring to the reality of life. Now the mother giraffe, what it will do, you will really surprise to know about it. Okay, what it will do. In his book, A View from the Zoo, Gary Richmond describes how a newborn giraffe learns its first lesson. The mother giraffe lowers her head long enough to take a quick look. Then she positions herself directly over her calf and she waits for about a minute, and then she does the most unreasonable thing. She swings her long pendulous leg outward and kicks her baby. It kicks with the leg so that it is sent sprawling head over heels. Right? It just kicks the body like that. And when it doesn't get up, the violent process is repeated over and over again. Again she kicks. Again she kicks. The struggle to rise is momentous because it takes time for it to get up, right? So as the baby calf grows tired, the mother kicks it again to stimulate its efforts. Finally, the calf stands for the first time on its wobbly legs because it's tall legs and it's wobbling. Then the mother giraffe does the most remarkable thing. She kicks it off again. Why? She wants it to remember how it got up. Okay, once if you get up, it's not enough, right? You don't remember the things. If you study something, you don't remember the thing unless you do it again and again some 2 to 3 times. Okay, then only it will be recorded in your mind. Okay, she wants it to remember how it got up. In the wild, baby giraffes must be able to get up as quickly as possible to stay with the herd where there is safety. Lions, hyenas, leopards, and wild hunting dogs all enjoy young giraffes, and they would get it too if the mother didn't teach her calf to get up quickly and get with it. So if it doesn't learn all those things, so these animals which are cannibals, so they will eat away those baby giraffes. So it teaches like that. So the late Livingstone understood this. He spent a lifetime studying greatness, writing novelized biographies of such men as Michelangelo, Vincent van Gogh, Sigmund Freud, and Charles Darwin. These people's life that he has studied. And Irving Stone, he was once asked if he had found a thread that runs through the lives of these exceptional people. Because all these are exceptional people, is there any common thing that relates all these lives? And he says, I write about people who sometime in their life have a vision or dream of something that should be accomplished and they go to work. They are beaten over the head, knocked down, vilified, and for years they get nowhere. But every time they are knocked down, they stand up. You cannot destroy these people. And at the end of their lives, they have accomplished some modest part of what they set out to do. Okay, they have a large goal, and to reach that, they have fallen down many times. And every time they get up, and at least they go to some distance in their achieving goal. That's what he says. Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to convey. So all these, whenever you want to do something, you always will have setbacks. You will always have to fight. There will be obstacles. There will be problems. But it depends on how many times you get up back and again you struggle to achieve your goal. Okay, that's what makes you successful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.